What's up, guys? My name is Cozy, and I am a producer from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And today we are going to be talking about my newest single, A World of Our Own. As many of you guys know, this single just came out yesterday. It's on all stream platforms, so make sure to check out the link right down below. So just to give you a little backstory, I started making this beat at the beginning of quarantine, and I just had a very sci-fi feel for it, an almost Billie Eilish type of vibe, something that would take a journey and change through the song. So while that idea sounded pretty simple at the beginning, it actually took a lot of separate layers and steps and a lot of mixing. So in this video, what I want to do is take you guys step by step on how I made this song. So for the bass beat, we're just going to start, and I'm going to show you the 3 synths that I use to get the overall vibe of the sound. So my thought of making this like a Billie Eilish or Clairo type of vibe, I wanted to make my synths sound like bells or a electronic xylophone sound. So I started with a low sound that just carries the chord progression, and here it is. Okay, so now that I have that low line set down, I wanted to take the same instrument and make it higher, so bring it up a couple octaves, and then I could layer these 2 parts together. So let's hear what it sounds like with the 2 synths at once. Okay, so that part is done. We can think about that as the basic theme and chordal progression of the song. But I wanted another synth. I want something that's going to drive the beat as I add and take parts away. So funny enough, I was listening to the song 223s by Y&W Melly, and I noticed there was this guitar synth that was rhythmic and almost sounded like a drum, and the sound was almost like a combined guitar and xylophone sound as well. So we have the high range and we have the low range filled out. So I thought maybe I can get this guitar in the middle range to bring it and to grow the beat. So let's hear that sound. See what kind of like carries the vibe with it? Yeah, it hits. Okay, so approaching the drums. This is my inspiration. While you may not notice it, in every pop song you hear, there are 808s, and it's a super important part of modern electronic music. So I started simple. I wanted a good 808, I wanted a clap, and I wanted a catchy shaker. I wanted this pattern that was gonna be mellow and catchy and simple, but also have that little bit of like pop rap feel to it. So, you know, it gets a modern day listener excited about it. Okay, so let's hear our 808 line with the synth part. Okay, so you see how that's like a little catchy line? So now to add to it, we need the bass of the beat down. So we're gonna get the claps, and we're gonna get the shaker, and I carefully selected these sounds because I thought it fit this spacey theme. And let's see how it sounds. Okay, so I want you to listen how this drives the rhythm. Okay, so we have the bass beat. What can we do to make this better? So what I tend to do to give it the modern feel is I have speedy hi-hats. So I can make the hi-hats super fast, and I put them through my beat to drive it and give a little bit of predictable unpredictability in my song. So let's hear how this sounds now. Hear that? Lastly, I just wanted to give the beat more depth itself. So I added a preset hi-hat loop, which I made really quiet, and I changed the sound to fit the frequency of my song that I wanted it to fill. I put it there to drive the beat a little without it being the base of my beat or people even really noticing it. So first, let's just hear what it is. See what's bouncy? Okay, so now when you put that together, that is the end of our bass beat. So let's hear it out, because it's pretty good. Okay, so now that we're done with the bass beat, we're we're gonna go into the bridge. So my original thought was I wanted to start with the full beat, take a lot away for the bridge, and help it develop to where it's going. Imagine the course of this song as someone that's just like starting and feeling trapped, going to somewhere where they realize where they want to be, and then going to where they want to be. So for the bridge, I want to take parts away, make it more sensitive and vulnerable so the listener can really hear Sophia's voice and the journey she's going through in the song. So before we go out and get what we changed, let's see what I kept. So I kept the original low xylophone piano part, the first thing that we talked about in this video, but I changed and played a different part. I played a simple descending chord progression that carries her emotions where I wanted to bring it to the next part. So for this part, I wanted to bring a new 808 in, a part that really just was bare and vulnerable, but filled those low frequencies. Along with that, I took a knocky kick sound and I kind of made it go like drrr, drrr, through parts. So it's pretty bare and that's it. Let's just hear what the bridge sounds like. So it's simple enough. I wanted her to carry that part. It is very specific, and when we talk about vocals later, you'll understand why. Okay, so what have we done so far? We have the bass beat. We showed where it goes at the bridge. So this is where it's gonna go. So after the bridge, we have an intermission. Next, I wanted to do a beat interlude. So I wanted to take it bare. I wanted to start with a new chord progression in a new piano and make it the relative minor of the original chord progression. Basically, this means it's in the same key, but starts at a different note, which makes it a minor. So now we get that like minorly dark vibe that's going to make it hit harder and go somewhere. So now that we have our game plan, I'm gonna show you the second chorus first, because then I can strip it down and show you how I built it up through the intermission. So first, let's just start with the new piano part I talked about. Okay, so you can hear it. It's something like pretty catchy, a little dramatic. The cool thing though is because they're in the same key and you can combine the relative minor and the major to make a really cool sound. So I'm taking all of the aspects from the beginning of the song and then I'm going to change them around that beat and take the bell guitar sound we talked about away. So basically it's something familiar that the audience recognizes but with just different parts. So to think about what's changing, we have to think about what I want for the second chorus. I wanted for it to bang, bang. So this is what I did. I got a harder 808 sound, one that booms more, is more sub-bassy, and then I put a clap in there. So you have the classic boom clap that's gonna drive the beat. Another technique I use, which I noticed in a lot of popular rap songs, is I had a high-pitched drone. So it sounds like this choir singing this dark chord, but it's very quiet and it's in the background. So let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so it's starting to get a little more exciting, a little more dramatic. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the bell sounds we used at the beginning and just change up those lines to make them a little more minor, add some triads and see how they come together. So let's just listen to what I wrote with them. Okay, now that we have all that and I showed you how we made it, let's bring the rest of the beat that was from the bass beat back in with that and let's see what it sounds. Okay, so you remember how I talked about the intermission? So now that we see where we come to, how are we gonna get there? So I start out by just using the piano. I add some effects later, as you'll see, but I just want to have the piano, and then I'm going to slowly add things in. So after the piano part, I add a low sequencer that just sounds like an alien and sci-fi sound. I bring that with it. So after that, I bring back the 808s, the hi-hats, and the claps. Pretty cool build-up, right? Trust me, it will get way cooler when we add the effects. Okay, so finally, how am I gonna end it? So I'm gonna take the original beat, but bare, so just that guitar bell synth, and then add the drone, which is the new part, so it combines the new and the old to give a kind of a cool feeling. Additionally, I'm going to go back to the original 808, which is much softer. This is gonna bring it back around full circle and really complete the story. Listen. So finally for the outro, we go back to where it all started. We go to the low bells, and all I do is I add a little these little like metally sounding hi-hats that go on both sides of your ear. So focus and try and see if you can hear that, okay? Okay, so there you have it with the beat. Really cool, right? Go you. So basically what I was going for, in that this song develops, it's almost as if she's going to a different place emotionally. So I wanted to filter her voice differently in certain places, and then I want to layer it when it hits the climax of the song and make it bare to have emphasis in other parts. So from the start with the bare beat, I just have her voice, I do some simple editing and let her bare voice carry it away. I make sure to mix it so it sounds wide so it can fill the whole sonic space and her voice can be the highlight more than the beat. Is there somewhere we can go? So in the next part, when the beat strips away, we want her voice to carry a little more. So I filtered it differently, added some compression, and the second time it comes around, we layer it, put another high harmonic layer of her voice on to add more emphasis. Can you hear the difference? Bring in the harmony. Okay, by this point you can probably see what I'm trying to do and how it's evolving through it. Next, with the bridge. So here I took away so much of the beat, I changed it up as I showed you guys before, and the highlight is her right here. So I made her voice wide, and I added harmonics on the emphasis points when she really goes high. I'm sick of feeling like I'm in too deep. It seems like everything is out of reach. There must be some way away from all of this. I just gotta find it. I gotta find it. So what I forgot to mention, as you probably noticed, is we added the background where it's a ha, ha. This is a theme that I take away and also change through the song. It's almost like using her voice as an instrument just to give it an extra layer, and I personally think it sounds really cool. So now, as we know where this is going, it's gonna drop, and it's gonna have that interlude that brings up to the drop. So I'm gonna take that same theme of the ha, but I'm gonna alter it. And what I'm doing is I'm putting something called a phaser on it. So right now we're gonna listen to just that track, and I want you guys to see if you can hear the difference. Do you hear that? It's a lot more electronic-y sounding now. So basically, as I'm taking the song to be more dramatic and electronic-y, I'm bringing her voice there with it. So now we get to the climax, we get to the second chorus. What are we gonna do? So here I'm adding a bunch of ad-libs, having her track back what she's saying, doing just classic vocal layering to add more drama and to fill the space so we know that this is the highest of where it's going. Her voice is filtered a lot more with auto-tune and sounds electronic-y as it fits the theme of the song. Let's listen to the second chorus.
Is there somewhere we can go? Is there somewhere we can go? Far from anywhere we know. Anywhere we could make a great escape.
Finally, as you know, we go back to the original theme, go back to the editing of the grass is greener, but with a little different beat as we showed before in the beat section. Let's see how it sounds.
Grass is greener, the air is cleaner, the water's deeper. Where the sky is bluer, the ice is cooler, life is newer.
I didn't have to do a crazy amount with the vocals, but I wanted it to match the vibe of where the song is going. So now that we talked about the vocals, let's go to the effects. Just from the vibe, I wanted to make this song spacey, have sci-fi vibes, and to have sound effects and make it feel like Star Wars and also like a Galactica video game. In the beginning, what I wanted to do was make you feel like you were in a spaceship in outer space. So what I did is I added some computer sounds and added a spaceship sound that goes around your head, some phone calling sounds, some air traffic control people talking, altered it all and made it this atmosphere so you feel like you're already in space. Let's hear the introduction just with that. Okay, so the next part where the main effects are is in the interlude. So I start with an air traffic controller and almost like a call and response between, almost as if she's in a ship, she's hearing all these signals, but she's still in her world. She's typing on a keypad to launch these new activation codes, she's preparing for liftoff, and finally the liftoff happens, and I just created this whole atmosphere as almost if she's going in combat. You can hear in the very background there's some little like arcade shooting sounds like beep, 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 beep. All of those sounds in it, and it's basically just preparing you for liftoff.
Andrews Tower, top pass 707, requesting clearance for departure. Runway 27, over.
Username authorized. Hyperdrive initiated.
Ignition, go for launch.
Okay, so now you guys know how I made this song. It definitely took a lot of time. There's around like 120 tracks on it. And if you made it through this whole video, that is just another reason why you guys should listen to the song. Links are down below. Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. Follow my Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube. We're going to come out with more content. And this song is really cool. I'm really proud of it. I think it was a really original idea. And honestly, it really helped me get through quarantine. So thank you guys for watching. I had a great time showing you this song, and make sure to listen to it and check it out below. This is Cozy, signing off.
Is there somewhere we can go? Far from anywhere we know. We can make a great escape to a world all of our own. Where the grass is greener, the air is cleaner, the water's deeper. Where the sky is bluer, the ice is cooler, and life is newer. Where the grass is greener, the air is cleaner, the water's deeper. Where the sky is bluer, the ice is cooler, and life is newer. I'm sick of feeling like I'm in too deep.